Okay, where do I start? Okay, Transformers Energon. What can I say about Energon? Energon is one of those cartoons, it's one of those shows on Transformers that a lot of people have widely considered to be the worst part of the franchise by far in a lot of ways. It's a little hard to describe why, so I think the best way that I'm going to do is I'm just going to go much deeper into this, because okay, this is a response to Jared Wolfgang one, who eagerly asked for a lot of opinions from a lot of people regarding the opinion of Energon as a series. And I think the best way to describe Energon is a very painful and very horribly dragged out experience for a lot of people who've watched this show and who've tolerated it as well. But I think that Energon has a special place where it's one of those shows that it's just painful to watch, because okay, this show was the sequel to Transformers Armada. It came out in 2004, where Armada ended in 2003. In Japan, it was known as Transformers Superlink, but Energon basically takes place 10 years after Armada, and right away, just watching this, when I saw this when I was young, I kind of tolerated Armada, and I didn't really have any I didn't really have any hope I was gonna like Energon, but Energon itself, Energon pretty much begins mainly with a lot of the characters, a lot of old characters and a lot of new characters. A lot of old characters with new forms. Prime, who has now become a fat Transformer all of a sudden. Hotshot is there, Jetfire is there, and Demolisher's there, and Cyclonus is there, by the way. But mainly, you do see a lot of new characters like Inferno, who I'm going to come back to him in a minute, but I think the main part of this video is mainly just going to be talking about some of the flaws that Energon did have, because Energon, as well as the Unicron trilogy in general, is a series that had such wasted potential, and it could have been something spectacular, but unfortunately, because of the writing staff and the animation and the production that all went into it, I'm pretty sure that they were a company that weren't even trying to put any effort into what they were doing. So, right away, I think I'm going to start talking a little bit about the two main protagonists of Energon, because nothing really happens in this series. Nothing happens in this series at all, because it's mainly characters being told what to do, because it's mainly lines of, we have to go here, we have to do this, the Decepticons are doing this, the Autobots have to do that. And it's over and over with this horse shit, and nothing gets accomplished. And seriously, I think the big problem that I have with Energon, aside from most of the characters having the least development, is the apparent friendship / berating, grating relationship between the human character Kicker and the Autobot character Ironhide. Now, Kicker is basically the human character of this series, and he has been regarded by a lot of fans of Transformers as one of the worst human characters to ever exist in fiction. Because all he does, his role in Energon isn't really anything like spectacular, because he can mainly sense Energon, but that's all he can do. And throughout this whole series, he has teamed up with Roadbuster in Japan, and they sort of form a Bumblebee / Spike relationship, and it doesn't work. It's a horrible relationship, because, okay, I'm trying to think who said this, but, Random DC, if you don't know who he is, I'm linking you to the video regarding this below, but, Random DC said that when I was a child, Ironhide was a Mr. I don't give a fuck about anyone, I'm off to kick some ass and save the day. Ironhide is not this whiny pussy bitch who spends most of his time just going, Ironhide, and transform, and kick and what have you, but, Jesus. But yes, you take the name Ironhide, which belongs to a really cool character that we all grew up with, and attach it to somebody completely different, and it's not Ironhide. It's just a different character. And that, I think, is a huge problem, because, okay, this series was mainly marketed as the 25th anniversary of the 20th anniversary of Transformers, and a lot of wasted potential went into it, because, okay, one thing I like to call out, mainly, first of all, I'm gonna get back to Kicker and Ironhide in a minute, but, the animation for this, it's not good. And the animation for Energon is one of the most cheapest, badly done, badly drawn, and just poor excuses for animation ever to happen to a Transformers cartoon, because, okay, what it is it's this 2D CG cel-shaded look, which you would think would kind of be the same trend that, Zoids did, because, the animation company that made this show also made the show Zoids, and that was passable, but it still didn't look all that good. Wouldn't you think that if you were going to make a cartoon that had a lot of CG robots, wouldn't you just make the cartoon entirely CG already? Wouldn't that work? Because that worked with things like Beast Wars and Beast Machines, and those are really good. But Energon, the animation for this, it's not good. Because, okay, most of the designs for this are mainly taken from the toys, because I can get why a lot of people like show-accurate designs for a lot of the characters. But for this, it doesn't work, because the animation for this looks blocky, it looks messed up, it doesn't look believable, it just looks blocky, because the robot designs all look blocky, and the cel-shaded animation, I haven't got a problem with Transformers being an anime, because it has its place, because things like, Headmasters and Master Force and Victory and Zone have done that already, and they've done pretty decent jobs. But this is what really gets me about it. Wouldn't you think for a Transformers cartoon, when I think of a Transformers cartoon, I would think that if they went for the animation for this, excuse me, wouldn't they have used the same style used in things like the Gundam cartoons when Sunrise did their version, or an even better example would include things like the Macross franchise, when their animation was really good, because the mechanical designs were really good, and everything else about that were really good. In this, the animation for this is horrible. It's not good, and whoever went into, okay, whatever budget went into making this, it was cheap, because, camera's a little bit faulty, there you go, but, yeah, the animation for this, it looks cheap, it looks horrible, it's not good, so, that's one thing aside, and plus one thing as well, there's no emotion in any of the robots' faces at all, because you get this blank expression, that's ba 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 ba, and the mouth's just flat non-stop. You don't see any emotional facial capturing or anything like that. No, it's just flat, dull, emotionless facial expressions, which don't work. Because okay, I'm trying to think of other Transformers shows that do this better. Beast Wars has facial expressions. Animated has facial expressions. Prime is a good example of facial expressions, and even the movies have facial expressions as well. Because one problem as well that I would like to call out as well is that this series was so badly written. Because Jesus. I'm just trying to think back, because I'm sure that the animation company, the writers, the producers, the voice actors, and everything else will probably look back on this and went, Jesus Christ, what the fuck are we doing? Because It's not good! It's horrible! And, okay, aside from the bad animation and the poor writing, the poor writing, the poor writing I can think of for this. A lot of the writing in this was really dumb. Because, okay, I know that this was an anime, so they had to try and make sure that they could make sentences to match what the characters were saying prior to the animation. But for this, it's horrible. Because, okay, I'm trying to think who the translator and the scriptwriter was for this series, because whoever the scriptwriter was lazy and completely incompetent. Because, okay, I'm trying to think of a bad sentence that was used in the series that makes no sense, and I can't because there's so many. But oh, what was it? There's this one scene where what was it called? I'm trying to remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. You'll tell me. But anyway, yeah, badly written, really badly written, and another thing as well, which I think this show completely sucked hard on this franchise, was the voice acting. Now, the voice acting aside, a lot of talent in this was wasted. Because, okay, I know they got Gary Chalk, Optimus Prime, and I know they got David K from Megatron. Those are the only two that work. Those are the only two that I think really worked in this in the Unicron trilogy aside. But most of the voices for some of the characters, like Ellen Kennedy as the human character Misha, who I know can act better than that. Have you seen Shadow Raiders? Shadow Raiders War Planets. She plays a character called Zuma in there. Ellen Kennedy is an amazing voice actress, and her voice doesn't match a teenage girl. It doesn't work. Another one as well. Michael Dobson as Starscream. Is it just me, or is it that when you hear Michael Dobson doing Starscream's voice, you hear him basically trying to do a really bad impression of Burgess Meredith? And that's not how Starscream is supposed to look. I take it the fact that he wanted to make the voice sound like Chris Lasser, but it didn't work. And for this character, it still doesn't work. Other voices. Oh, okay. Don Brown as Cyclonus / Snowcat. I know that Cyclonus, I'm gonna save this for another day, but that's not Cyclonus in Armada, because when I think of Cyclonus, I think of an emotionless, heartless character, the emotionless, heartless character from G1. But this Cyclonus is grated, cackling nonsense. When he becomes Snowcat, it's even worse, because he spends most of the time yodeling, and that's like a whole, you know the whole Animatopoeia thing with Warpath and G1 where he goes kabam, bow, bow. He cannot go, Warpath, just like, Snowcat cannot go without a second without yodeling. Fucking hell. Another throwback, which I think is the biggest one aside, Brad Swale as Kicker. If you don't know who Brad Swale is, I want to tell you a few of the roles that he was in. Let's see. He was the voice of Catcher, Barbara Winner in Gundam Wing, Rock in Black Lagoon, and most popular of all, he plays the voice of Light Yagami in Death Note. So, pardon me. Before Light Yagami, Brad Swale played a stupid character that nobody liked. So, okay, Kicker. He is the worst character in the whole series. I don't know how long characters can actually just. I'm surprised that none of the characters in this show actually told him to shut up, because it would have been good if he told him to, like, okay, Kicker, you've said what you need to say, shut up. That would have worked. But seriously though, Energon is one of those painful cartoons that I think, I think Jared said it better than anyone else. You end up bleeding from your anus because of it, and that's the friendly part. But aside from that, though, this series is really bad, and I'm sure the voice actors who read the script probably just went, "Why the fuck am I even here?" And just taking a look at the script and just reading how much none of this makes any fucking sense. It's remarkable. It's fucking remarkable how long they have. The 52 episodes where potential is wasted because it's a series that goes nowhere. It's a series that went completely nowhere and that just had no purpose and that just it could have been good. And okay, bearing in mind, this was Plan B. Plan A was originally Transtech, and if that had went along, we would have seen a much better future for Transformers. Not the fucking Unicron trilogy. God. I don't know. I don't know what else to say except that. Excuse me. Is the Energon aside? Jesus Christ. I know that we have most of the characters in this show that have the least development, like Optimus, who for some reason is a big, fat, chunky Transformer, and who has a super mode. I still think that Optimus Prime, being the leader of the Autobots, doesn't need a super mode. Megatron hasn't got one, so why does Optimus Prime need one? I don't know. But Jesus Christ, I'm trying to think of other bad moments in this movie that just made me want to cringe. Because aside from the apparent friendship between Ironhide and Kicker, Misha, the supposed love interest for Kicker, nothing happens. I just noticed that after 52 or 51 episodes in, we don't see that relationship built to anything. They like each other. Misha likes Kicker, but Kicker feels least accepting towards that whole relationship, and they never do anything together. That's just the thing. Is that we're supposed to think that there's this relationship between these two characters, and nothing gets accomplished in this series. And okay, another thing as well. Unicron once again is a character that stands around and does nothing. You would think that Unicron, being the Chaos Bringer, the giant behemoth of the Transformers universe, would have much of a larger role. All he does is just become a growling monster and just stand there and go, "Roar!" Okay. It's amazing how pretty much after the Unicron trilogy, Unicron hasn't had an appearance in the franchise cartoon-wise at all. Because he has had such bad treatment. Because when you think that, the concept for Energon was a really good concept. It worked. Because the concept was the Decepticons striking a deal with Unicron, and Unicron paying them in Energon. Good concept, it works. But it's just, it's so badly done in this cartoon. It's so horribly done. And another thing aside, Alpha Q, which this is another part of Unicron as well. Alpha Q is a Quintesson, and a very useless Quintesson character at that, because the Quintessons, space pirates from G1, the creators of the Transformers in G1 cartoon. In this, they don't do anything! Because, Alpha Q is this whiny alien who spends most of the time just going, "Kicker, kicker, 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 oh, planet's Kicker!" And it's, oh, Jesus Christ. But, he spends most of the time just... He mainly spends most of the time trying to get his planet back, because his planet was hit by Unicron. And he struck up a deal with... No, sorry, he brought back Scorponok, and Scorponok brought back Megatron, or Galvatron, or whatever, and... excuse me, Megatron then thrashed Scorponok around, and then Alpha Q thought that it would be a good idea to make a deal with Megatron, but no, Alpha Q has his own agenda where he spends most of the remainder of the series inside Unicron's head, and then after Unicron's head gets attached to his body, nothing happens. That's just it. This is a show where nothing happens. Nothing happens at all in this series. It's boring. Nothing happens. And fucking hell. It's remarkable how nothing in this series builds to anything. It's a series where it's an intergalactic Easter egg hunt plot. And aside from the poor animation, the desperate voice acting, and the atrocious writing, this is a desolate, empty, poor excuse for a show. And that's what I mean when I say that this series had such great potential, because aside from this series just having a passable plot, well, sorry, there is no plot in this show, so scratch that. Nothing in this series was redeeming. It's not good. And I'm trying to think of other people that like this show, but honestly, if you like this if there's anybody out there who likes this show, go watch Beast Wars. Because that's better than this. And I'm probably one of the very few people that have ever really decided that, that after Energon, I would kind of finish this series and watch Cybertron. I never did watch Cybertron. I don't want to, because it just doesn't look that good. And the only good thing we got out of this trilogy, aside from in Energon-wise, was a great toy line and a really good comic series. That's it. And this series was painful. This show shouldn't have been made. Honestly, Hasbro, I think that if you had went with Transtech, you would have had a much better successful future for your franchise than 6 years wasted on a series that just went nowhere. And I can understand that they went ahead and built this whole mythology in this little pocket of a trilogy, but it still didn't work. Because the whole Energon, the subplot, the human subplot... Oh, one more thing, I just want to finish this off. The friendship between Kicker and Ironhide, like I said before, it's horrible, it doesn't go anywhere, and you would think that what was it, in episode 3, when Ironhide then says, I don't want to be partnered up with Kicker, you've seen how much of a brat he is. Wouldn't Optimus have just went ahead and said, okay, if you don't want to partner with him, I can partner you up with someone else? Plain and simple. Why would he feel the need to partner Ironhide up with the worst human character in Transformers imaginable? I don't know. This shit is just confusing. And you know, it's hard to really, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think really hard, and just how much of the production went into making this show, because it must have been really cheap to make this. And Jesus Christ. What the fuck were they doing? And even in Japanese, it's still not good. I've tried watching in Japanese. It's still not good. I'm sorry. I wish I had a lot more to tell you about that, but I don't. honestly, to anybody who's ever watched this series, to Jared especially, who's probably watching this video now, I feel your pain, sir, and I'm sorry that you had to sit through that tripe, because it's not good. It's not good. It's not a good series at all. It's horrible. And you'll get a bit of auto-assembly to cheer you up, don't worry. But with that in mind, Energon, poor character development, worst human characters by far. Aside from Kicker and Misha, we do get Sally, who's Kicker's sister, and Miranda, who's Kicker's mum, and Dr. Jones, who is this scientist with a beard. I liked him, he was alright, but oh yes, just one more thing, the Miranda 2. Okay, when did the series suddenly become Star Trek? Why the fuck do they need to build a ship that the Autobots need to pilot in to basically just go galaxy hopping? I'm pretty sure as soon as that ship came along, the series just went downhill. But bearing in mind, after episode 3, the series had already went downhill, cause I don't know. I really don't know anymore what else to say about this series. It's not good. It's not good. And I really wish that this series could have had... This series needed to be completely rewritten, and completely redone, and completely reanimated, and completely just redone! Because it's not good. Okay. If they wanted to go ahead and make a possible sequel to Armada, they could have done that. But if they were going to do it, put some proper thought into it, because I'm sure that the scripts and the translated scripts for the English voice actors were not looked over at all. Because the one thing that a script needs, whenever you're dubbing a foreign cartoon, when you're writing a script or something, especially in anime, you need 3 things. Logic, sense, and intelligence. There's none of that in this series. And... hang on. I just thought of something. If this series had never existed, and if we got Transtech instead, then... if this trilogy never existed and we got Transtech instead, I would have at least liked to see the continuation of the Generation 1 storyline from G1 to Beast Machines. Because that would have been really good. But, Jesus Christ. 6 years wasted. 6 years wasted on a franchise, on a trilogy that didn't work. I don't know what else to say. The only good thing we got out of this trilogy was a good cartoon and a good comic series. That's it. Like any of those two, but just skip the cartoons, because, okay, Transformers as an anime, it works. It works very well. But, but if you're gonna do it as an anime, put some effort into your artwork, because, you don't want to animate a cartoon that looks like it's been something from a video game. And I've seen video games with better graphics than that, but, but honest to God, this series, it sucked. It sucked so bad. And to Jared, you're probably the bravest man I've ever known to sit through that crap. And realise how crap it is. It's astounding. How I don't think anything gets accomplished in that series. It's remarkable. I would think at some point that if Hasbro ever did look back on their mistakes and just go, we fucked up, it's not, this was a failed experiment, it didn't work, we should have went with Transtech. They could have done that, but, what are you gonna do now? Energon, worst series ever. Don't watch it, it's bad. And to anybody who has watched it, I'd buy you a drink, if I could. Because I think bravery like that is very rare to find these days. Especially when you watch a bad movie or a bad TV show or read a bad book or whatever. You're very tolerant to just sit through it and just go, wow, this sucks. And we know it sucks, but the makers of the show didn't even put any effort into this. This was a series that wasn't trying. And that's an understatement, because even though the series got released on DVD, it's still bad. No one will buy it. I can't think of anybody who will watch it now. But yeah, I have no idea how long I've been talking. By the way, I think about 31 minutes. But Energon. That's my 2 cents on it, and my experience on it as well. Back when I was a child, back when I was in my teens, and now that I'm older, I realise that it was a horrible series. It just didn't work. But that being said, I'm gonna head off now. So I hope you found this very long and very informative response indulging, if nothing else. I don't know what else to say. Oh, but one more thing. It's sad when the only thing you have to go for in a cartoon like this is the ensemble voice cast you have. Because even a good voice cast, but under such poor direction, can't work. Because this series tried to be like Beast Wars, with that exact same cast. David Kane, Garrett Johnson, and whatnot, but it didn't work. And when you think about it, no effort was put into this, so that's my 2 cents on it. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. Energon was crap. See you all next time.